Okay, so welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the Global Experience Office presentation during this Welcome Week. My name is Jeff Sullivan, and I'm a Global Experience Advisor specifically for the UK and Ireland. And I also have my colleague Christina here as well. Christina, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Christina Schinder. I'm also an advisor at the Global Experience Office, and my region covers Spain, France, Portugal, Belgium, the Middle East, and North Africa.
Great. So Christina and I are 2 of 6 advisors in the Global Experience Office. We all advise based on location. So at some point, if you're interested in doing a study abroad, you will work with one of 6 of us just to help you with your study abroad. Now, feel free to enter your questions in the chat, but I would recommend maybe saving them till the end. We will address questions at the end because the presentation might actually answer questions for you. But feel free to enter them in the chat. At the beginning of the chat, you will see the website for the Global Experience Office, northeastern.edu/geo. Feel free to bookmark that. You can also see in the beginning that I put the link for scholarships. That's kind of the most common question we get from students. Feel free to bookmark that as well. You will find a lot of GEO funding opportunities, and we will discuss that throughout the presentation. So welcome everyone. We'll have Christina go ahead and start us out and kind of give you a background of who we are.
Okay, so I think many of you here are probably wondering why participate in a global experience. Well, first of all, going abroad and having a global experience is definitely part of the Northeastern culture. And it's something that we hope all students are able to do in some shape and format. But specifically, I'm going to identify a couple of reasons why global experiences and study abroad can really kind of enrich you as a student and a person. So first of all, earning Northeastern credit. When you go abroad, all of our programs have been vetted to make sure that they are on kind of the same academic quality as Eastern, and you are able to transfer your credit back. It's also a really good way to build your resume and kind of help you stand apart, stand out from other applicants. It's a really great thing to bring up in a job interview, and it can be something memorable that you can share and something a little different. It's also a really good way to kind of get out of your comfort zone and experience different perspectives, different cultures. It's kind of difficult to really see your own culture until you kind of get out of it and have something else to compare it to. And it's a great opportunity to meet people from all over the world. And of course, understand global issues that you might be learning about in class or just on the news, but, hearing it from the perspective of people in that community. And it's also a really good way to improve your cultural competence and comfort, which will definitely serve you well in the future, especially if you want to continue traveling. And it's a really great way to learn and practice languages. I'm sure many of you have taken language courses before, so if you want to continue, going abroad can be a really good way to kind of immerse yourself and really kind of work on your language skills. Okay, so just to give you an idea of some of the programs we offer, they range from 1 week to an entire year. And I'm going to go into more detail about these programs, but I just kind of wanted to give you a quick overview before we kind of start digging into them a little more. So embedded programs are essentially a class that you would take at Northeastern. And during class, usually during spring break, you and your classmates and your professor go abroad for about a week. And it's kind of a way to take what you're learning in the classroom and apply it to a real life setting and kind of contextualize the material you're learning in class. And as you can see here are some of the embedded courses that we've had in the past throughout all the different colleges at Northeastern. Okay, so one of our most popular global programs are the Dialogue of Civilizations. I'm going to go into more detail about that soon, but just for some kind of quick statistics, In 2019, we had 1,170 students participate in 69 programs, 41 countries, and 5 continents. So now we're just going to watch a quick video that kind of goes more into dialogue. You can see some of the experiences our students have had.
And we were testing this earlier, so hopefully it'll work. Let's see if it does.
Dialogue of Civilizations is Northeastern's unique short-term study abroad program. These take place during Summer 1 and Summer 2 and are 4 to 6 weeks long. Every summer, more than 60 dialogues are offered to destinations all around the world, each focusing on a current, globally relevant issue. Northeastern faculty members lead groups of 15 to 30 students to 1, 2, 3, or more destinations in 1 or more countries. This unparalleled experiential learning opportunity was launched by Northeastern over 20 years ago and enables you to travel the world and gain first-hand knowledge and experience in a field that's interesting to you. You can fulfill your major, minor, NU path, and elective requirements by doing fieldwork and learning in some of the most unique classrooms imaginable. You will complete 2 courses and earn 8 credits while on dialogue. These are Northeastern courses, so you don't have to worry about transferring credit or course equivalency. You will be taught by both professors from Northeastern and local professors from the host country. While you can only travel with your group while on dialogue, each day you will follow a well-planned itinerary and take field trips, visit museums, and go on natural, cultural, or historical excursions. Accommodation is organized for you and ranges from hotels, hostels, and shared apartments to living with local host families. You pay Northeastern tuition for 8 credits and are billed as usual through My Northeastern. An additional Dialogue of Civilizations fee of $500 to $3,500 includes your meals, housing, and transportation while abroad, and in some cases, your airfare from Boston to the destination country. Additionally, the Global Experience Office and external partners offer grants, scholarships, and fellowships to help enable your participation in a dialogue. With all the support offered by Northeastern and the Global Experience Office, you shouldn't think twice about going on a dialogue this summer and becoming a citizen of the world.
Did that work okay?
Yes, it did
Okay.
work okay.
Great.
Thank you, Jeff. So the video did have a lot of details, but I'm going to go into a bit more. So as we heard, the dialogues are faculty-led and they're offered in the summer, in summer 1 or summer 2, and they focus on all different kinds of topics. And as you can see, we do have options in every college at Northeastern. So chances are you can find a dialogue that's a good fit for you academically and personally. And actually, so this past year, as you know, COVID-19 kind of really impacted higher education. So as a result, we had to move our dialogues online, and we ended up having 32 virtual dialogues, which were really innovative and interesting. And actually, for this upcoming year, we're requiring all dialogues to have a virtual version in the event that we need to pivot to that. But, you know, of course, we are hoping that we're able to deliver these on ground. So as the video mentioned, the cost of a DOC is the equivalent of 8 Northeastern credits, which is basically half the normal tuition, and as well as a fee. The fees include accommodations, excursions, transportation. However, one thing to note, this year we're not including flights in the program fee, so that's something that you will arrange on your own. We do have several scholarships available, and Jeff put the link in the chat. We definitely encourage you to apply for them and check those out. It can be a really good way to kind of offset some of the costs associated with dialogue. And in terms of the timeline, the dialogue will be posted in late November, and the applications will open in January and close in February of 2021. So my advice would be in December, go through our website, look at the dialogues, see which ones stand out to you. And if you find one you're really interested in, I definitely encourage you to apply as early as you can. Some of the dialogues are very popular and have a lot of demand, but can only accommodate a certain amount of students. So the earlier you apply and, if you put a lot of thought and time into your application, you're more likely to be accepted to your dialogue of choice. Okay, so study abroad. So here are some statistics as well. 2019, we sent 931 students abroad on over 200 programs in 62 countries and 6 continents. So now we're going to watch a video featuring actually some of our former student workers, and they're going to kind of talk about their own study abroad experiences through GEO.
I studied abroad in Thailand at Mahidol University.
I studied abroad in fall 2018 in Lima, Peru.
I studied abroad at the University of Canterbury, which is located in Christchurch, New Zealand.
One thing that's really important about study abroad is that you kind of go alone, in a sense, to a place that you don't know anyone, and you really learn confidence. The confidence aspect is really nice because I came back to Northeastern more confident about myself.
I was able to live pretty independently and travel on my own schedule, doing things that I never would have imagined. So I definitely learned that I am capable of doing this.
One of the most unique experiences was I took a class called Engineering Developing Communities. We worked with the Maori community there, who's the indigenous population, and they were really close to just Christchurch, the city, maybe an hour away, but yet they still didn't have like plumbing and things like that we take for granted all the time. And so I think it was really cool to see that even though you consider developing countries maybe third world countries, there are still developing pockets in all of these developed countries that still need all of this engineering infrastructure.
In my experience, study abroad ended up being cheaper than me staying in Boston.
I picked going to this university in Peru because I was able to take all of my classes direct enrolled in this university in Spanish, and there was nothing quite like getting to take classes that I would have taken at Northeastern. So being able to take classes for my major, for psychology, at this university with Peruvian students was really unique and made this very special and different than anything that I could have remembered or done anywhere else.
Okay, so as you can see, our students all had all types of experiences. And study abroad is kind of what people typically think of when they think of a global experience. It's a semester-long program. It can be in the summer as well. And as one of the students alluded to in the video, it's kind of a more independent experience than going on dialogue, for example. Depending on what program you choose, you might be the only Northeastern student at that program, or you might be with a lot of Northeastern students. For example, our most popular program is at the London School of Economics. So you will have other Northeastern students who are on that program, but if you decide to go somewhere maybe a little more on the beaten path, off the beaten path, it will definitely require more independence on your part, but it can also be a really amazing growth experience as well. And yeah, so these are some of our most popular programs. Yeah, thanks, Jeff. So in terms of the study abroad timeline, the applications for summer and fall 2021 are going to open in January, and our summer deadline is in March, and our fall deadline is in April. So you definitely keep those dates in mind. And also, in the wake of COVID-19, we actually have added a couple of new opportunities, one of which is home country study abroad. So as you might know, Northeastern has a very large international student population. And due to some of the travel restrictions that have been put in place, some students have elected to take courses at a local university in their home country. So that's going to be potentially an option if needed in the future. Also, many of our partners have offered virtual study abroad programs, which are really interesting and innovative, and a good option for students who perhaps don't feel comfortable traveling or are not able to, still want to get that kind of intercultural global learning experience.
And also, I just want to add to the virtual semester study abroad is sometimes students might find courses that are not offered here at Boston's campus, of which case a virtual study abroad might be able to allow you to take a course you wouldn't normally take, let's say like in the fall or the spring. So it just allows you to maybe get ahead in your academic plan. So I'm going to take over now and talk about some of the other programs that we have here at Northeastern. So we do have Global Quest. So as a first-year student, this is actually an opportunity to study abroad in your first semester or your first year, second semester, so spring semester. So we do have 2 locations for this 2021 year. So one is in Sydney and the other one is at Northeastern's campus at the New College of the Humanities in London. So students of these different colleges can take advantage of this opportunity if they want to study abroad as early as their spring semester of their freshman year. And we also have integrated study abroad. This is something that you will encounter within your major and something you want to maybe discuss with your academic advisor or perhaps a GEO advisor. But basically, there are quite a few majors that have a study abroad that is actually just already embedded into your curriculum. In some cases, it's often required, like for instance, international business or international relations. Those students are required to do a year abroad. So in a lot of cases, you will find that different majors, all different majors, have study abroad already a requirement or sort of included as part of their study. So keep that in mind as you're going through your academic plan with your academic advisor, or you can even talk with a GEO advisor to kind of investigate this a bit further. So another program we have is called the Global Engagement Program, of which I'm the advisor for, and it is actually for the first year rather. So it's basically a 4-year program of which students can study basically in a different location each semester or each year. So for instance, first-year students that are in this program are going to be studying in London in January. They were supposed to study in the spring, but they will be going abroad in January and summer 1 to London at Northeastern's campus in London. And the second year would be like San Francisco's campus, the Northeastern campus in San Francisco. Third year is a study abroad. And then the fourth year is back at Northeastern. So this model will probably become more of a common thing with a lot of different majors. Currently, business majors as well as political science and economics is what this program is sort of geared towards, but we probably will find this model more of a common thing where students are alternating between different campuses in different locations throughout the 4 years that they're here at Northeastern. Another program that you'll find is Semester In. Currently, we have Semester in San Francisco and we have Semester in London. And Northeastern does have quite a few campuses in the United States, as well as Canada and London. So this will also become more of a common thing as well. The thing that right now that has been big is Semester in San Francisco. Students that want to study entrepreneurship go. They study with other Northeastern students at a WeWork space that is sort of the campus, which seems a bit weird, but students are actually interacting with startups that are located in that location. So it's actually pretty cool because it's sort of real-time, real-world experience that students are getting, particularly related to entrepreneurship, finance, or other sort of business programs. So Semester In also will be in London, actually, this next in spring 2021. So you will see some options there as well for more majors, I believe in the College of Social Sciences and Humanities, and I believe Corey as well. So keep an eye out for that, or you're welcome to contact somebody in GEO and we can definitely talk about this further. So global co-op. Students, there are actually quite a few students that do global co-op. You work with your co-op advisor to secure your co-op. Students typically will look on NU Careers for co-ops that are around the world. And after you have actually secured your co-op, then you will work with the Global Experience Office to help you with the visa guidance as well as the pre-departure. So in the last year, we actually had over 500 students do a global co-op on 70 different locations, I think that's supposed to be, or co-op opportunities. And actually all 7 continents, we actually had students that did co-op in Antarctica, believe it or not. So they were doing research. So that is kind of a common thing. So you will want to connect with your co-op advisor first if you're interested. There are a lot of Northeastern students that do global co-op. It's becoming more of a common thing, and you'll see it more and more. And as I was saying, here are some examples of global co-ops that students have done in the past. There's a common misconception about global co-ops. A lot of them are paid, believe it or not. So that's something to keep in mind when you're thinking about a global co-op, is that typically you are paid. In some cases not, but a lot of times you are. And so work with your co-op advisor. We also want to advertise the presidential global scholarship. And students that typically do a co-op will, if they apply to this presidential scholarship, they will receive some sort of funding up to $6,000. So that's something to keep in mind, and is also located on our scholarship website that I included in the chat. So GEO, we want to confirm that we work with students through the whole process of when they do a study abroad or a global co-op. We basically help students at the beginning, and all the advisors like Christine and myself will sort of help students go through each step. It can be kind of dense. There's a lot of information. So we sort of break it down for you in like chunks so that you know what to do, when to do it, and we kind of help you with the applications. And then we also provide health and safety. We do pre-departure orientation so that you know what to expect when you go abroad and to prepare you for your international experience. We also have quite a few support systems on campus aside from GEO, such as the International Safety Office. So if students are experiencing an emergency abroad or they need to come home quickly, like for instance, COVID-19, last spring, we had several students abroad, and GEO and the International Safety Office were able to get all the students back safely. So basically, we keep a very close eye on what's going on in the world. We're very attuned to what is happening. So we always want to make sure that the health and safety of students are the first thing that we recognize, and helping students through the whole process of doing a study abroad. So another thing too I want to highlight is we have something called Find at Northeastern, and this is for students that might be going abroad that might be experiencing some mental health issues. This is a great resource to kind of access if students are having a hard time adjusting to a new location. Find is a great resource that students can connect with to get counseling or any other mental health support services at Northeastern. So Geoadvising, so as I said, Christina and myself, and there are 6 advisors. We advise on different locations of the world. We will basically help you with your course selections abroad, working with whatever host institution or provider abroad that you're working with or thinking of doing. We will help making sure that you get the courses that you need, and we will help with the course evaluations as well. We also help with the application, which is usually a 2 application process where you do the GEO application as well as a host institution. But we will basically help you with that, as well as kind of give you guidance on housing, visas, and other sort of support that you might anticipate. We also kind of review finances and help you make you aware that any sort of Northeastern aid that you currently have here actually usually automatically applies. I would say 99% of the time usually applies to your study abroad experience. So do keep that in mind as you are thinking about it. Whatever age you have applies. And actually in some cases, because of the cost of living in other countries, like Christina was mentioning, it might be cheaper to actually go abroad than actually just being in Boston. So as I said before too, we also do pre-departure programming before you go abroad to ensure that you are aware of all the things that important pieces and important resources that you'll need when you go abroad, just so that you're successful in your study abroad experience. So another thing too we love to do is to connect students that have done study abroad programs to students that are thinking about doing study abroad. We also connect exchange students that are here at Northeastern to students that are going abroad. And that's a great way to kind of give a sense from the student perspective of what to expect going abroad, where maybe us as advisors might not address certain things. Students might highlight things that you might not think about. So we do quite a bit of that, connecting students with other students. We also will ensure that whatever study abroad you pursue, that your grades, your transcripts, and everything will convert back to your degree audit here at Northeastern. And we also do reentry programming, of which students come back and reflect and parse out skills and takeaways that you've gotten from your study abroad, apply it to your resume, or apply it to other aspects of your identity when you come back. So it's very important that you, as a student, connect with your academic advisor first, just to make sure that you plan accordingly over the next 4 years here at Northeastern, to ensure that your courses will work when you do a study abroad. They will be your first point of contact, I would say. You're welcome to also work with a GEO advisor to kind of understand what sort of programs exist. And as I mentioned before, Student Financial Services will help you with any sort of funding to do your study abroad. And financing study abroad, so students always pay Northeastern tuition. Wherever you go in the world, you pay your normal Northeastern tuition, whether it's semester or summer. And that will ensure that your credits transfer back as Northeastern credit to your Northeastern degree. As I mentioned, financial aid will apply to whatever study abroad, and I would say most cases. And we do have the scholarships, grants, and fellowships, so the link is in the chat, so please bookmark that. And we have all sorts of funding opportunities for global co-op. All non-academic costs, such as housing or other program fees, are the responsibility of the student. So do keep that in mind as you're planning. We typically can help you with budgeting. We do have some budgeting models. And we can also kind of give you a sense of what the cost of living might be in another location as well. And here it is again, the funding opportunities that I was talking about earlier. Just to give you a sense, we do have quite a few. This year, we actually have something, the First Time Travelers Grant, which is students that have never traveled abroad before. This is an opportunity for you to apply to a grant. I believe it's $1,000 to $2,000. I can't remember. I believe it's $2,000. So that's something to keep in mind. And I would say students just apply to any of these. You most likely will probably get something, I would imagine. So we definitely encourage you to check these out. So ways to engage. So you, on our website, there is a contact page of which you can schedule appointments with any of the 6 GEO advisors, depending on the location that you're looking to go to. We also have peer advisors that should be starting soon, of which you can connect with. We have quite a few alums that we also are happy to connect you with, of students that have done different study abroad programs. You will find on each of the study abroad program pages, as you're looking through different opportunities, you will see an alumni section where there will be contacts of students that have done the program before, of which you're welcome to reach out to, just to get a sense of what their experience was like. And next week, actually, we start our virtual fair. So we have a calendar of events that you will be getting. There should be an email actually going out to you shortly, probably either today or tomorrow, that will kind of give you a highlight of all of the info sessions that will be occurring over the next 2 months, just to give you a sense of study abroad opportunities that are happening in spring 2021 as well as summer 2021, and even thinking further beyond that, just to give you some ideas and get you thinking about doing a different type of study abroad. So, and something right now is we're offering virtual study abroad to students right now in this current semester. Yeah, so that's that. And I'm just going to kind of give you, this is a study abroad fair that we've had in the past. I'm sure at some point again, we will have them in person, but this just gives you a good sense of like what that experience is like.
Hey everyone, we are here today at the Fall 2018 Study Abroad Fair for Northeastern University. We are the Global Experience Office and we offer over 170 different partner institutions for students to study at all around the world. Today students can come to the Curry Student Center and check out all of the different partner booths and figure out where they want to study abroad.
So there are international co-op opportunities, there are study abroad opportunities, dialogue of civilizations. So I'm really looking forward to just checking everything out and knowing what's available for me.
We want to make sure every student works with their advisor because we want students to get ahead with their coursework. We don't want it putting them behind. And the locations have been designed to give a whole host of major required classes, minor classes, and courses that might fulfill their new path.
I was just telling someone at one of the booths that I don't really care where I go, just as long as it's new and it's different. Yeah, I've always loved traveling and I've always loved a global experience, and that's why I chose Northeastern.
So as the video was saying, obviously that was an in-person one, but for the next couple months, they will be virtual. So each day we will have different sessions. So we encourage you to attend any of those sessions just to get a sense of what the study abroad opportunities are like. A GEO Advisor or one of our partner institutions will be present to kind of talk to you about the different opportunities. So another really key thing that we consider very important with study abroad is diversity, equity, and inclusion. We actually have a My Global Identity series, which we had done in person in the past, but basically this time we've made it virtual so that students can have do it on something called Articulate 360, of which you can kind of navigate based on different identities, your personal identity and how it might be perceived in another country. So we do have this resource that you can access, which I would highly recommend. I sort of oversaw a lot of these. And so we've basically identified 4 identities for this series, and we're expanding them further in a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee that GEO has. So we have one on ability, disability, wellness abroad. We have one on faith and spirituality abroad. We have one on LGBTQA, and we also have one on race and ethnicity. We partner with the different offices here at Northeastern. And Northeastern Cultural Life offices have been great, and they love working with GEO. We do have a lot of students of different identities that are often concerned about what it will look like when they go to a different country. So we are very mindful of that and like to engage in those conversations. We also have a space for first-time travelers. We understand that Northeastern students tend to be well-traveled in a lot of ways, but there's a lot of students that have just never traveled before. So like I mentioned before, we have the grant that we're offering new this year, but we also try to offer a space as well for first-time travelers, just to get them to think about things that they wouldn't normally think about going abroad, or address any sort of fears or hesitations about going abroad and trying to make them feel more comfortable. And also, you know, a lot of this is tied with the GEO funding. We do have the IUN scholarship, which students are nominated by a cultural life office and can get, I believe, up to $5,000 for doing a study abroad. So if you are working with one of these cultural life offices, I would recommend applying for this. And also another thing too, we do quite a lot of is the student voice section, which we do have on the website, and we'll kind of share that link out in a bit. But basically, we have students that will often talk about their identity and going to a different culture, and I'll show you an example in a second. So this is a student that had gone abroad and just sort of talking about his identity. So feel free to read this and kind of get a sense of that. And go ahead and read that. In the meantime, we will address any questions that you might have, of which maybe we haven't answered. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, I don't know what the link, which link you're referring to, Rutu. Oh, I don't know if it was a scholarship thing. I'll just paste it again if that's what you're looking for. And this session will be posted soon, I would imagine, probably within the next few days. Okay, great, Perfect. Does anybody else have any other questions? You're welcome to unmute if you'd like to ask a question or type it in the chat. Either way, we're here to answer any questions you might have. Or we can also just address common questions that we get from students. Anybody?
Where will this session be posted?
That is a good question. I believe it would be posted on the website. I think we have a list of all of the attendees, so we can also send that as well. I imagine that we can post it on the website, so yes, we'll do that. And we'll dialogue, yes, dialogues will be happening this year. So dialogues will be available. We'll start posting them in late November and through December, and then January 1st students will apply. The deadline will probably be February 1st with an extended deadline of February 15th. We do anticipate, like we're definitely trying to plan ahead and be proactive. In the instance like a dialogue cannot run in a particular country for some reason, it will be made virtual. So students that maybe still need the course and maybe want to do a virtual option will be able to do that, because all of the dialogues this year are required to do that. This year we have so many dialogues. I think we have over 100, which is crazy, because in the past it's been somewhere around 70. So there will be quite a few dialogues running this year. So it's something to keep in mind and something to keep an eye on. But you know, obviously with COVID-19, we're monitoring that very heavily and just sort of pivoting where we need to ensure students can still pursue it, a dialogue safely. Okay, so somebody's interested in a program assistant position for dialogue. Yes, so I would say that's a good question. You're welcome to email geo@northeastern.edu about that question. Just because there are so many faculty that are running dialogue programs, you would want to reach out to a faculty. So whatever department that, or whatever major or college that you're in, you might want to find out which faculty are running dialogue programs. You can also just send an email to geo@northeastern. We might be able to connect you with someone that might be doing that. Those positions are usually posted on the Northeastern employment website for students. So yes, there are students that do those program assistant positions, and they're really cool because you get paid for sort of, you know, being a program, like kind of a TA for a dialogue. So it's kind of cool.
I can take one of the questions too.
Yeah, sure.
So Sahidi asked, do students that study abroad at the same location stay together or have some kind of community in that country? So I would say it really depends on where you are. There are certainly countries that are more popular and will have more students studying abroad there. But you know, that's really up to the students. We do have a Facebook group, but in many cases, students have kind of organized independently and kind of got in touch with each other, and in some cases live together. That is something I've done with my own applicants. I've asked them if I can provide their contact information to other students on the same program, and usually students all say yes. But you know, even if there aren't any Northeastern students on the program that you're on, there will likely be other study abroad students from other parts of the US or other parts of Europe. So, you know, there's always going to be some kind of exchange students wherever you end up studying abroad. And I find that's often where people kind of find their little community, if not integrating into the culture itself.
Thank you, Christina. Just so if there are any honors students here too, we have Barbie from honors to answer any questions that you might have about your global bank account or the dialogues for this summer. So feel free to connect with her or ask any questions. Let's see here. We also have a question. Yeah, thanks, Barbie. That's great. And then let's see. How do we choose a dialogue that works for our major? So once the dialogues come out, you will see how all of the dialogues apply to different colleges or majors. So you can, I would say there will be probably a dialogue fair. I imagine it will be virtual, but the faculty will be there to kind of guide you and tell you what the course offerings are. Your academic advisor also will be able to kind of help. You know, everybody's learning about the dialogues as they become approved, so they're in still the planning process right now. They're still being finalized and will be finalized in November, so you will have a better idea at that point. But as we go along in the semester, you might connect with faculty within your own college or your own major to see if they know about dialogues that might work best for you. We won't know in GEO until probably November. So, okay. Great. Do we have any other questions? Anything else? Okay. Well, if you have any other questions, feel free to email the GEO account, geo@northeastern.edu. Feel free to bookmark the website, and also go to the hashtag NUGoesGlobal. And my name again, Jeff Sullivan. I'm a Global Experience Advisor, and Christina Schinder is also an advisor. So we were happy to help you as well. If you just email the geo@northeastern.edu, we can answer any questions that you might have about specific locations. So, okay, any other final questions before we end up the day? Okay, I will go ahead and stop the recording.